Right now, you have a disease. And what's crazy is you don't even know that you have this disease. Now, what am I talking about? I came to the Houston Zoo today because I want to talk about a concept that you absolutely need in entrepreneurship if you're going to survive. And what is that? Cultivating your own mental habitat. Now you look at this elephant behind me, it's fossilized, it's dead. And I want it to be a metaphor for the idea of how something doesn't survive when it's outside its own habitat. So how do we build the type of surroundings, the environment that will allow us to thrive and survive as entrepreneurs? Because I can tell you, if you don't do this, if you don't entertain the right people, if you don't have the right mindsets and influences around you, you will not survive in entrepreneurship. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to build a mental habitat so you can survive entrepreneurship. So building your mental habitat is the most important thing that you'll do in entrepreneurship. Let me tell you, this one thing, if you do it, will drastically blow up your results. It's going to be one of those things that's the real brass tacks of what needs to happen to get entrepreneurship or get your business or whatever you're doing to the next level. Now, the first thing I want to talk about in this video is what type of friends that you have to remove, what type of people you need to remove from your life. And then I want to go and talk about what type of people you need to have in your life and how this goes into constructing your mental habitat. So the first thing is we have to build an environment, if you will, of positive emotions. When I say positive emotions, I'm going to talk about this a little later in the video. I'm not talking about just people who always tell you what you want to hear, yes men. I'm talking about people who are reinforcing agents in your life. When I first started entrepreneurship, I remember going to my friends and telling everybody what I wanted to do. Now everybody around me, of course, the first thing they said, you know, that shit's not going to work. And of course, that's their perspective or their idea of it because, why, they've never seen anybody be successful. But I want to ask you something. How is this helping me? How is this making my business more successful? The first person you're going to have to watch out for is who I call the negative reinforcer. The negative reinforcer is somebody, no matter what happens, they always find a way to make it negative. I remember walking in and talking to my mother one time, and I was telling her, you know what? I'm about to go out here, and I'm about to build a business. I'm going to make $1 million. And the first thing he said, yeah, be careful with that, though, because if you make $1 million, it's going to be a lot of people coming after you. There's a lot of struggle that comes with that. Now, of course, you know, everybody has their own opinions of that situation, but I looked at that situation as like, though I love my mother to death, this was something that was not helpful when it came to building my business. I would go to my other friends and say, look, man, I got this idea, I got something I want to do, and the first thing I would say is, man, I don't know if that's going to work, man. I ain't never seen nobody do anything like that. Once again, negative reinforcement. Because there's people, they're so addicted to the negative emotions. They're so addicted to the idea of things failing or things not going their way that they begin to project that on you. So all these negative reinforcing agents, these were the first things I had to remove from my life in order to be successful. Now, when I mean remove, that doesn't mean you completely cut them out your life. But what it simply means is that you start exposing yourself less to them. And it's the first stage of building your mental habitat. Now, the next person I want to talk about is the person who thinks they know everything. There's this great episode of South Park, one of my favorite episodes. I was talking to Will about this earlier. It was Hindsight Man, the person who can always tell you how shit should have been done after you've already tried to do it. But the one thing they never do is attempt themselves. This is once again another negative reinforcement. So recently something we had, Will just did an amazing photo shoot for the in crowd. It's one of the best photo shoots we had done in years.
I want you to be great, Prinston. They don't want you to be great.
They don't want that.
Now, we assigned a makeup artist, and the makeup artist was actually my cousin. She was on my channel before, but we had a makeup artist, and we didn't know how long makeups take, because me and Will, neither one of us do makeup. So when she got there, it took longer than we expected for the makeup to be done. But everything else about the photo shoot was organized. We had a stylist, we had a professional photographer, we had makeup artists, we had the whole thing laid out. But people came around talking about, man, you should have thought about this because the makeup artist took too long. And I sat there and I thought to myself, well, shit, yeah, of course it's easy to sit here and say now, because somebody else has put this together, that it should have been this, or maybe you should have had this part. But 2020 hindsight is one of the craziest things that people have that they think makes them smart, because they can see in hindsight. On the episode of South Park, the guy, Hindsight Man, you can look this up, he used to come in after like a natural disaster or something happened. He would fly in, he'd be like, maybe you should have done this, and you should have done this, and you should have done this. And he'd fly off, and he'd be like, God bless you, Hindsight Man! It was the craziest thing, because the point that they were making on South Park is that hindsight is not a special ability. Right now, I do a video, anybody can get under the comments and say, man, you know, you should have covered this point, or you should have put this in the video. But it's easy to do it instead of actually getting out here and doing some shit to make stuff happen. So next I want to talk about another person you have to get outside your life. And then I'm going to talk about what type of people you want in your life in order to form a complete mental habitat. So the next thing I want to talk about is what we call false supporters. Now you might have these people in your life, every time you do something, they're around. They're telling you how it could have been done better, kind of like what I talked about with hindsight. But they're not real supporters of what you're doing, what I mean. I'll give you a prime example when it comes to clubs. I've worked with Willpower a lot when it comes to putting together clubs and putting together like events. And one thing I notice is that people always want to get in free. But what's more interesting, you get these promoters, you get these guys coming on talking about, you know, I want to help, I want to bring people out to the club, and they bring people who don't want to pay for shit. Now, when they get to the door or after the money's getting broke down after the event, they always want to get paid because they say, I brought people out. I brought people to your event. However, those people never really support it. It's the same thing when you're putting together a business. All these people talk about, hey, Prince, I watch your videos. Oh, I mean, I support you, I do everything, but they never show up to anything. They never show their support with real, genuine, like, oh, even just a share or a post or something like that. These false supporters are people who will come around and negatively affect your positive emotions. All these different things, but they'll never ever truly support you. They'll never ever be the person who does everything that they can do to make sure you succeed. Right now, my good friend, Willpower, he's standing right here behind me. He helped me film these videos. He's helped me film every video of the Massive Action Movement show. Man, how many friends are gonna really get out here and do it? It's hot as hell out here. The sun is burning, it's sweating. We're walking sometimes miles in a day across different weird locations in the forest, everywhere. But he does that, help sure that make sure I can be successful. And it's the same thing vice versa. That's a true friendship. And that's the type of people that I'm going to talk about next that you want to get inside your mental habitat.
So guys, when you're having these two different types of friends, this negative friend and this positive friends, what you want to do is compartmentalize them motherfuckers. If you have a negative friend, every time you come up to them with a great idea, they always shoot your dreams and stuff down. Hey, if they're fun to hang around, if they're fun to go out to eat, go to brunch with them. Don't stop hanging with them. But when it comes down to you doing real business, real practical things for your business, you want to partner and pair with those friends who are always going to give you those practical solutions, always going to help you figure out a way. Massive Action Movement, guys, let's turn up.
My friend Will just made an excellent point about compartmentalizing friends. A lot of times people bring friends to the wrong environment, similar to a mental habitat, something they're not fit for. So you may have family members that are negative. Don't cut them off completely, just compartmentalize them. Sometimes you just need to have them around family events, and that's the most you need to have them around. If you have just a friend who turns up, you have fun hanging with them, you don't have to cut them off. Just go turn up with them. Like Will said, I don't even have to repeat all the points, but the point is compartmentalizing. So with that being said, I want to talk about the two types of people that you need in your life in order to be successful. These are two people that I personally cultivated, that you need to cultivate right now if you want to be successful. And I promise, if you put these two people in your life, it's going to change the way you do business. Now, the first person I'm going to talk about is the positive reinforcer. What is the positive reinforcer? This is the person who is the dreamer. They're the one who helps you keep the positive vibe, the motivation when you're going after crazy dreams. So this is somebody who you talk to them, you say, man, I want to accomplish making $1 billion. They're the person who says, you tell them, hey man, I want to go to the moon. They'll say, you know what, I just found this article online the other day. They got $1 million charter to the moon. And that's an actual real program that they had before, that they chartered commercial citizens to the moon. So this is the person who's going to find a way to make your crazy dreams get them accomplished. They're going to contribute to your mental ecosystem. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's taxing. It's going to push you down. It's going to grind you down sometimes. You don't need a person who's always around trying to negatively tell you why your dreams can't be accomplished. So when you're trying to stay motivated, you need to have somebody who gives you positive reinforcement. Now, the next person I'm going to talk about, and it's a lot of times overlooked because we think just because I'm saying you want positive ecosystem that we can't have any negativity in our life. Now, I'm not talking about the negative person who says that they don't know how to get things done. They just complaining about how fucked up their life is. Not that person. We want to remove those type of people. What I'm talking about is the person who gives you positive, negative feedback. Now, I know it's oxymoron. What I'm basically getting at is the person who can give you constructive feedback on what you need to be, what you need to do to be successful. In business, we call this a person who focuses on solutions and not on the problem. So what do I mean by this? Let's say you did a marketing campaign, and it was one of the best marketing campaigns you had put out to this point thus far. Now you look at a couple things in the marketing campaign that could have been better. Maybe you could have had a more engaging headline. Maybe you could have had better sales copy, whatever it is. You look at all these aspects of your advertisement and it just didn't perform the way that you wanted it to perform. Now you go to this one friend and the first thing they say is, yeah, it could have been better. You could have had a better headline. Yeah, man, you could have read it. Maybe it was too salesy for them or something like that. But they never give you any feedback of how it could have been better. You can always tell that this is coming from a negative place. You often see a lot of times when people get this type of feedback, they'll lock up on you because they know it's not coming from a genuine place. It's really coming from a place of superiority, like, I could have done it better. Well, if I would have done it, I would have done it this way. But they're never the person who gets out there and does it. Like, we were filming here a second, guy walked up and told Will, said, maybe he should move his hands a little bit less, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you get out here and you make a video in front of all these people that walk by and tell you how you should be doing the video. They sit by and observe you as you're filming. It's easy to give negative feedback, but nobody really gives true positive feedback. And you can tell that they have this smirk on their face like, oh, I could have done it better. But they're not giving true positive or constructive feedback. So that's the person you need. You need somebody who's going to give you constructive feedback. You need somebody who wants to conflict your ideas, but somebody you can look at their ideas and say, okay, they're giving me good things. You can filter out the good stuff. See, I always cultivate these people around me. I want people who challenge my ideas. I want people around me who challenge my ways of thinking. I want people around me who will tell me when I'm fucking up, when I'm doing things wrong. I want these people around me. But when I know it's coming from a genuine place, I then, from that point, can improve because that person is only trying to improve all aspects of my life. I can tell you, if you cultivate these two type of people, you will make sure that your mental habitat can survive. But if you don't heed the warning that you need to put these type of people in your life, the right type of influences in your life, then I can promise you, just like something that's outside its habitat, it will go extinct. So to wrap this up, I want you to remember some key things. The first thing is you want to get these negative influences out your life. You want to get the people who are complaining about their lives, victim consciousness. You want to get these people out your life. Also, you want to get the people out your side who don't focus on solutions. They focus on the problem. And you also want to put people around you who have a positive ecosystem, who have a positive outlook, who reinforce the things that you're doing. And also, build that constructive feedback within your processes in your business or whatever you're doing in life to make sure you're constantly growing. I mean, one of the greatest things I was watching this interview with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. He said one of the biggest benefits that he had being a billionaire is that he could choose who he wanted to work with. He never had to work with anybody he didn't particularly care for. And that's really what you want to think about right now. You may not be able to get all the type of people out your life that you don't like working with, but you can start cultivating a mental habitat that allows you to work with the people who are going to help you reach your full potential and get to the goals you want. It's fine, you can come on. And get to the goals you want. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to build that mental habitat, I can promise you can build an environment of success that's going to allow you to survive, it's going to allow you to thrive in the tumultuous world of entrepreneurship. It's a hard road. It's a struggle. Every day, it's ups, downs, there's successes and failure. There's things that are gonna just test you, that's gonna push your limits, that are gonna test your ability to keep going and stay motivated. And to conquer this, to get through this world, to get through this mental environment that you struggle with, you're gonna need people to go along in your mental habitat that help you survive. Don't let your business go extinct. Don't let your dreams get extinguished. Allow yourself to build a mental habitat that's gonna allow you to succeed. And with that being said, as usual, like and subscribe for more. Go to the like button and push the like button right now. Subscribe, join the Massive Action Movement. We'll see you next time.